So this is going to be a little bit of a different video from what we've been doing on this channel. We are looking to move away from guides, and I know it's been a little while since we've uploaded, so we're going to see if anybody is interested in this. More commentary style. I am just talking live right now. There's no script or anything. I'm just doing some Arachne, and I'm going to talk about some grievances that I have with the game right now and the path that it's going down. And I would like to put a little disclaimer on this, that this is not coming from a place of hatred, but more just I'm just upset that this game that I'm so invested in and I really want to see do well and has so much potential is just going down every single wrong path. And it seems like it can't do anything right now, and it's just frustrating because I feel like there's so many different things that they could be doing for this game to do better, and they're just choosing to do everything incorrectly. So I think the point of this video is more to just gauge some opinions from you guys, and to maybe this sets some sort of movement. I don't think it will. I just want to rant, okay? So to understand all of this and why this is also upsetting, the first thing I need to talk about is monetization. Originally, back in like 2020, Skyblock didn't have any monetization at all. And with it being their biggest game, they needed to find some way to make money. So they introduced booster cookies and fire sales, which nobody really had an issue with. There were a couple people who were saying it's pay to win, but it's so expensive to buy coins that it isn't really an issue. And you're also able to buy the items with coins from other players, so it's not like you just can't access this content or these buffs if you don't use IRL money. So that really isn't an issue. On top of fire sales though, they already had their network monetization where they had ranks and they had MVP++, which I'm sure isn't making nearly as much as something like cookies or fire sales do because they're so often and there's so much money. But there's still a pretty decent amount of money. People are paying monthly for ++. I'm paying for ++ right now, and I've been paying for it for years. And you know, if I'm being honest, I've probably spent hundreds of dollars on this server, and that's just me as one player. And I wouldn't even call myself that dedicated of a player. So this is the money that they're already making. Nobody really has an issue with this. And then up until yesterday, where they introduced a completely dedicated building in the hub just to cosmetics, they've been increasing the frequency of fire sales up to 2, 3, 4 times a month compared to the monthly sales that they were originally. And it feels like a lot of their time is just going into making these fire sales because they sell out every time. And of course they're going to keep making them whenever they make probably $100,000 per fire sale. They're going to make them more often. And that wouldn't be an issue if they were actually putting time into other parts of the game. I don't think that we've had a single quality update since the Rift. And I also have stuff to talk about with the Rift. Now the first thing I did was I went and I got a list of every single update that's happened since the Rift, which was 6 months ago, by the way. Almost exactly 6 months. It was around the 20th of June. So since then we had /show, which I'll do right here. It just lets you show your item in chat. I mean, they made an entire patch around this. It's a cool feature. It got rid of mods. We also got the Bestiary revamp, which is actually why I'm doing Arachne right now. And Bestiary revamp was cool because it made Bestiary maxable. It kind of added more of a defined end to the game. There isn't when there originally wasn't really, because Bestiary was so infinite. It took hundreds of years, like literally hundreds of in-game years to max. They added a max to it. People have it maxed right now. So that was a cool feature, but it's still just adding on to content that already exists in the game. We also got solo dungeons, which was just another quality of life update where you can queue into a dungeon by yourself. And that just eliminated the need for alt accounts that wasn't adding content. We got the year 300 raffle, which was kind of underwhelming. They just added a couple of cosmetic items and there was a raffle to get some cool items. Nothing really new though. You got farming, you get 1 farming wisdom from the fruit bowl. That's cool. 1 farming wisdom, you get farming 60 faster. Everybody's already farming 60 though. We got the Burrs revamp, which was probably the biggest update. We got the Great Spook event, which was, in my opinion, the most underwhelming event we've ever had in this game. What it was whenever you kill a mob, there was a chance that you could spawn like a random event, and it was just stuff like talk in chat or stand still for 5 seconds, and they gave pretty much no rewards. There was nothing entertaining to do, and you could you could max out the shop with coins, so it didn't even matter. You didn't really even have to play the update. I personally just bought it for like 50 million coins. I barely played during that time. We got pests. This was a pretty big update to Garden. I mean, it added a lot of fortune, but that's really it. A lot of people have complaints with that. I don't really see the issue with pests. I think that it's a good update, make the game more active. Now, we also have the yearly Winter Island update. You can't get mad about that. Again, it's just adding on to additional content. They do that every year. And then finally, as of yesterday, we got the Pets update and Taming 60, which in my opinion is probably one of the worst Skyblock updates of all time. Everybody knew that we were going to get Taming 60 from this update, but we also expected some sort of content, not just a way to put your pet in a menu And I'm not exaggerating. If you want to get a level 1 G-Drag to level 200, it'll only take about 60,000 days. That's over 500 years. So this is a completely useless update that is helpful to nobody. And just off the top of my head, here's an idea. What if there was a little area you could go in? It's like a pet-specific training area. And it's like, here's combat dummies. They give you half the combat XP, but like 2 times the pet XP. So it's a specific place to level your pets and nothing else. So it would be the best way to level a G-Drag. It's like, okay, well, I really want to get a level 200 G-Drag. I'm on an Iron Man. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go train in this dummy room. And they could do that for every skill. They could have like, you know, a little park area, a wood cutting area where you get half the foraging XP and you get double the pet XP. You could level all your pets. And whenever you're in there, say you get like tickets, and you can use these tickets to buy the level unlock, so you can get Taming 60. They can still lock that behind something like they want to do with level 60 skills. And then you could also buy other upgrades. Say like, oh well, you get 10% more XP while you're in here, or maybe you could remove the XP cap. Like I feel like this update had so much potential to add something to do in the game that's new. But instead, it seemed like they forgot they were supposed to make an update about 3 hours before the community project was finished. So they went, oh crap, we gotta go make something. And they put this together like 5 minutes before the deadline. Now, I also want to talk about the communication from admins. In most good games, the developers actually talk with their community and they let them know what's going on. We don't know anything about this game. We got a roadmap of updates about, I don't even want to know. It was probably a year and a half ago, where they told us everything that was coming up until the foraging update. And we have everything except the foraging update, except we have no idea what the progress looks like on that. They haven't said anything about 1.20, they haven't said anything about foraging. These guys are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. They get paid probably 2 developers' salaries per fire sale, which they're running once a week right now. And we don't know anything about this update. We have nothing to look forward to right now. We got the taming update yesterday, which is just another update in a series of awful updates, and we just don't know what's coming next, and there's not much we can do about that. And every games off the top of my head, we have Fortnite has like the communication from Fortnite right now is, you think they want to take notes from the biggest game of all time, but instead they choose to just go in silence. No, but like I don't see how being quiet benefits anybody, even if the news is disappointing. Like being in the dark is so bad for everybody. Like old school RuneScape, which of course I'm going to talk about because I really enjoy the game right now, but they run a poll for every single one of their updates before it even starts being developed. It's like, imagine if they polled every single thing that came out with the update yesterday. It was like, should we make this a community project? Should it, you know, should there be a feature where you can level up your pets for coins? I guarantee you all of them would have been voted no. But they could have ran that poll before they wasted dev hours, working hours, human time making this garbage update. And I guarantee you the only reason that we didn't see this update on alpha before it came out, and they decided to do a community project instead, was because they knew it was bad and people would hate on it, like we did with attributes, like we did with ability transfusion, like we did with pests. At least pests weren't that bad and they actually came out. The original version of it was pretty rough, but they did end up fixing that a little bit. They took some community feedback. But instead of developing the update first, they should give us a general idea of what's happening, so they don't waste all this time and honestly, they're wasting money. I mean, they have to pay these developers. They're spending days working on creating these updates, and they just never get seen because they're so bad. I don't know. I can't talk about that much more. It's just the fact that we get no communication from the developers is so upsetting right now, because I don't know what's next. We don't know what's next. There's going to be an update in 3 weeks. I imagine we might get we normally get a forum post around Christmas, kind of detailing some stuff, but like Jay Varman isn't doing the 1.0 threads anymore, so we don't really have anything from him. He was probably the most communicative developer, and he's not doing those anymore. So there's just nothing to look forward to. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's like, I'm doing Arachne right now. I don't really, like, you know, I'm just kind of doing this. I don't have any reason to do so. All I have left in the game is just bestiary and a couple of like minor grinds. Like I've pretty much done everything there is to do in this game. And it's just so demotivating having nothing to look forward to. And talking about having nothing to look forward to, every single update that they've been releasing is just so focused on like early game players and casual players that it's like, it takes away from what makes Skyblock Skyblock. I think the thing that people got hooked on was like the amount of time you had to spend to get good at this game. And it just feels like every update they've been releasing recently has just been focused on new players, and like the Rift. I had the Rift maxed in 24 hours of it being released. Like I literally I was on for the day that it released. I didn't sleep until I had it maxed. And that was like a normal day for me. It didn't mess up my sleep schedule at all. And that goes for pretty much everybody that prepared for the update. They've never had an update like that before. And then after the Rift, they've just kept doing that. Instead of sticking to their long grinds, like Catacombs 50. Catacombs 50 would have taken, like, Catacombs 50 was impossible whenever Dungeons first came out. And then they made it easier and easier. And now it's still a very long grind. So I don't have an issue with the Catacomb 50 grind. But I'm just saying, they need stuff in this game that's repeatable and fun. And they're just like straying away from that for some reason. And they're just focusing on, oh, we're gonna make the Rift, which is like story based, and everyone's gonna hate it because it's, you know, it takes 24 hours to max, and it has no effect outside the game. It gives you the Rift necklace, which is useful like 0 places. You get 3 extra magic find in some situations, and that's really it. It doesn't give extra damage. It's still better to use Molten. It's still better to use Vanquish. Like, there's just no reason to ever use the Rift unless you want the Skyblock XP from it. And for the content that they are making that takes a long time to make, it's just boring. Like, we have the Garden, and the Garden takes hundreds of hours to max. And do you want to see the Garden gameplay? Here, I can simulate it without going to the Garden. That's it. This is it. This is the Garden gameplay. You just look in one direction, you hold down your mouse, and you go left or right. Like, that's it. It's ridiculous. And that is one of the longest grinds in the game. It takes over 500 hours to max it out. Nobody wants to do that. Like, Catacombs 50, everybody wants to get Catacombs 50 because that's fun to do. It's content, you're active, you're involved. You have to play with a team of 5 to, you know, kill these dungeon bosses over and over. People enjoy that. It's randomly generated. Garden is just farming for, it's literally just running in one direction. For hours upon hours upon hours upon hours. And now you have to go out of your farm and kill these pests that are decreasing your farming fortune. It's just not fun content. And also, I think with the balancing issues that they've been having, there's just sort of like a lack of rewards. There's no motivation to play the game because they're so scared to add like better items to the game. Like the Garden, there's really no reason to play it. Like, the money isn't good from it. The only reason you would play the Garden is for Skyblock XP. Like, that's it. Like, the money's okay for the amount of activity, but like everything, there's so many better activities you could be doing for money that it makes no sense to do unless you just want the Skyblock XP. But in the past, like, okay, F7, we got the Hyperion, which is still like the best sword in the game to this day. M7, we got the Dark Claymore, which is, you know, the best melee sword in the game. We got E-Man Slayer with the Terminator, the best bow in the game. Like, what, like, what if we got equipment? What if each equipment had its own, like, best item, and it was actually the best? Not, like, the Rift necklace, which they said is the best, but it just gives 3 magic find, and every other, like, necklace is better than it. And also, instead of going... They had a good idea with the Crimson Isles. I honestly think the Crimson Isles might be one of the best updates of all time, even if it took a while for it to, like, settle in. Because it had a lot of soulbound items and, like, solo progression, you know? But with recent updates, you've been able to pretty much buy to max everything. Like, the Great Spook event, you could just pay to max that. The Winter Island, I don't even know what... I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know anything that changed with the Winter Island. They added the new gift system where you have to gift 600 unique players with white gifts, which is the most, like, annoying... I still haven't finished that. And the only reason I'm going to finish it is because there's an emblem and 10 Skyblock XP behind it. You don't get any actual rewards from it. You get 10 Skyblock XP, and you get an emblem that I'm never going to use. Like, that's it. And I gotta finish that. I gotta go find 600 unique players and give them a gift. Like, nobody wants to do that. And it's just something you pay to do. Like, there's no actual grinding involved. It's just going to Hub 1 and just running around, clicking right click, and that's it. That's the entire update. And just overall, a lot of the updates they've been adding recently just have nothing interesting in them. Like, I've said this a couple of times, I'm pretty sure. But it's just like, I'm just not interested in playing these things, and I don't think a lot of people are. The only people that are still, like, dedicated to playing this game are the complete, like, I haven't been logging on much recently. I've never been this burnt out in my life. Like, I think that it's pretty common for, like, I don't know, content creators. Like, I wouldn't really consider myself one. I'd consider myself more of a player at the moment. But, like, I'd always be confused how they would get burnt out. But I see it now because there's just nothing in this game. I've really always loved this game. I was so dedicated to it a few months ago. Like, I was putting in numbers over the summer. It's all I played. But right now, I just don't feel like logging on. There's no motivation to do anything. We don't know what's coming next. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to rant a little bit, see what people think. If you disagree with me, let me know. If you agree, you know, just let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm just interested. I feel like this game has so much potential, and it really is probably, like, I mean, I think it's my favorite game of all time, just with the amount of, I mean, I've spent, just on this profile, I have almost 3,800 hours. I have probably over 1,000 on my original profile. Like, you know, I've spent a decent amount of time with this game, a very decent amount of time. So I've spent money on it, so I think I'm in a good place to be able to complain. Oh, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this, where it's just like me talking, or like more casual. So if you have anything you want to see, more stuff like this, more things for me to talk about, like general video ideas, just let me know. That's really it. See ya.